It began, not with thunder, but with silence. Far beyond Neptune's orbit, astronomers noticed something odd, a glint of light streaking across the Kuiper Belt, accelerating far too quickly for a comet and with a trajectory that defied orbital mechanics. For weeks, the object moved undetected by the mainstream public, tracked only by a handful of deep-sky observatories and a quiet task force buried within the Pentagon. They called it ECHO. It was the third interstellar object to pass through our solar system, after Oumuamua and 3I Atlas, but this one did not drift, it flew. When the US Space Force attempted to triangulate ECHO's path using satellite networks, the object changed speed. It turned. And that was when everything changed. By the time the media caught wind of ECHO, it had already entered the inner solar system. Mainstream outlets ran headlines like alien probe or physics-breaking rock. The object emitted no radio signals, no thermal emissions, but its trajectory was unlike anything seen before. It looped near Mars, shifted vectors with a burst of invisible propulsion, then set course for Earth. The Pentagon released a brief statement through the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO. An unidentified interstellar object is inbound to Earth. No confirmed threat at this time. That was a lie. Classified intelligence showed the object maneuvering with purpose, surveilling orbital paths and satellite arrays. A joint task force was formed under the newly resurrected Majestic program, an elite group of physicists, military analysts, politicians, and linguists brought together for one goal: contact or containment. Then ECHO split into three. One of the smaller vessels, Scout class, as Majestic theorized, entered Earth's orbit and hovered silently over the Indian Ocean. The world watched as a 200-meter obsidian craft, shaped like a crescent, emitted a low-frequency hum that disrupted GPS, radar, and even migratory animal patterns. In a historic emergency session, the UN Security Council debated how to proceed. The US wanted to fire a kinetic weapon. Russia demanded communication protocols. China and EU pushed for caution, fearing an irreversible act of aggression. A few major physicists addressed the Council via satellite. If these are emissaries, not invaders, our response will define the outcome. Remember, the first move is history. But before consensus could be reached, the second ECHO craft descended. This one crashed. The crash site was Yukon Territory, Canada. NORAD scrambled jets to secure the scene. What they found was not debris, but a partially intact craft, seemingly grown, not built. The hull appeared organic, self-healing, and resonated when exposed to electromagnetic pulses. Within 72 hours, global powers flooded the region. A covert research station was erected, manned by scientists from DARPA, CERN, and even private firms like SpaceX and Blue Origin. Then came the message. A rhythmic pulse beamed from the first ship over the ocean. It wasn't language. It was mathematics, Fibonacci sequences, prime number patterns, gravitational constants. A universal handshake. The world held its breath. Communication stabilized. For 2 weeks, Earth's top minds worked to decode the alien pulses. Initial translations pointed toward a simple phrase. Observe. Await. Synchronize. But as linguists mapped more complex sequences, hidden within the waves were references to Earth's radio signals, cultural broadcasts, and nuclear test signatures, evidence that they had been watching us for over a century. Then the synchronization event occurred. All 3 ships activated simultaneously. Beams of light shot into the upper atmosphere, disrupting satellites, aircraft, and electrical grids. On the ground, thousands of people reported vivid dreams of alien landscapes, ancient cities, and eyes that glowed like dying stars. Majestic feared the worst, a psychic weapon. Others believed it was a force neural link. Then came the first casualty. A French reconnaissance jet veered too close to the Pacific ECHO. Without warning, a pulsed energy wave incinerated the aircraft. France declared it an act of war. NATO scrambled. China launched an ASAT missile. One ECHO ship retaliated with a burst that disabled every satellite in a 500-mile radius. Communication systems collapsed. Civil unrest erupted globally. Markets crashed. World leaders fled to underground bunkers. And still, the ships hovered. Now the question wasn't about communication, it was survival. A coalition strike force comprised of elite units from 5 nations was deployed to the Indian Ocean site. Their mission: enter the Echo craft and disable it from within. They made it inside. The interior defied Euclidean space, chambers folded inward, gravity twisted. One by one, contact with the team dropped. Their last message, barely decipherable: "We are not first." Then came the shockwave. A blast rippled across the Earth's magnetic field. Auroras surged to the equator. Every animal on Earth went silent. And above the sky, more ships arrived, 20, 40, then hundreds. But they did not attack. Instead, a voice, clear, resonant, broadcast into every mind on Earth. "You called us gods. You called us monsters. We are neither. Your kind stands at an intersection, ascend or vanish." Then silence. World leaders, philosophers, and scientists scrambled to interpret the ultimatum. Was it an invitation? A threat? Or something stranger? Majestic uncovered final data from the crashed Yukon vessel. A message embedded deep within the ship's systems. We fled. Now they follow. The real threat wasn't Echo. It was what was chasing them. A new fleet of ships emerged from the shadows, sleek, angular, obsidian black. These were not the same as the others. They came without warning, without a message. And they opened fire. Above Earth's atmosphere, archive ships formed defensive formations. Orbital battle broke out. Earth skies lit with colors unseen, weapons beyond electromagnetic spectrum. Fragmented quantum pulses vaporized archive vessels. Planetary defense grids powered up for the first time. China launched Heaven Spear. The US activated Project Enoch. Major cities were evacuated. Archive drones, biomechanical constructs, descended to defend infrastructure. Washington, D.C., London, Beijing, Mumbai all became battlefields of flesh and machine. EMPs swept continents. AI systems either shut down or rebelled under signal corruption. Humanity adapted. Children were hidden in cavernous sanctuaries. Cities turned into bunkers. This was no longer about contact. This was a war for existence. As the hostile aliens overwhelmed orbital defenses, Earth's leaders assembled in Antarctica beneath the Amundsen Scott base. There, hidden under the ice, the first aliens called Echo revealed their final gift, the Axis engine, a time-folding construct that could relocate Earth into a stable void pocket beyond reach. But it came with a choice. To use it, you must abandon the stars. Forever. The vote was split. Humanity had to choose, fight a war they could not win, or escape, and start anew. The Axis hummed, awaiting command. Debates raged deep beneath the Antarctic ice. The Axis engine pulsed in anticipation, its fractal shell refracting light and reality itself. Some called it salvation. Others, surrender. The commander of Majestic stood before the gathered leaders. "We don't run. Not from this. If they gave us knowledge, we use it, not to flee, but to fight." But the president of the EU countered. "If we stay, we risk extinction. This Axis isn't an escape, it's a seed. A second chance." Suddenly, a rupture appeared in the sky above the South Pole. The hostile aliens had found them. A black spire of energy cracked the atmosphere as a harvester seed ship descended. The choice had to be made. The vote split the coalition. Half chose to stay, to mount a final stand on Earth. The other half entered the Axis engine's chamber. The construct activated. Half of the surviving people left Earth and disappeared. The others waited in silence. Then the Axis vanished. They were alone. But the aliens left as well. Nothing happened. Years later, one of the survivors made a scary discovery. He found old documents in a secret archive. The documents described a plan. A plan titled The Final Solution for Overpopulation, formerly known as Project Blue Beam. The plan described in the documents would utilize 3D holograms and laser projections from HARP to simulate an alien war, using ELF, VLF, and LF waves to make people believe they're being spoken to by the alien forces. This fake alien invasions to push the world into chaos and force acceptance of a one-world government. This government would then force the people into a choice. A choice that would cut the population in half, manipulating the people to take their own lives, leaving the other half under the control of this new world government. Many people warned that something like this would happen. Von Braun, before he died, told of a long-term plan to create a series of fake threats to justify space militarization and create an alien invasion, with an endgame of gaining global control. Serge Monast, a Canadian journalist, claimed that NASA, in coordination with the United Nations and other global elites, was planning a false second coming or simulated alien invasion using advanced holographic technology. It all made sense. But it all happened too fast. The world was in chaos. People were scared. And now it was too late. They did it. They won.